Hello everyone, welcome back again to Liverpool Report today. We've got the latest updates on our beloved club Liverpool. But before we dive in, make sure to subscribe so you never miss a moment of Liverpool Report news. Let's get started. Andy Robertson knew Arne Slot was the man to replace Jurgen Klopp when the Dutchman challenged Liverpool's players to win the Premier League before a ball had been kicked in anger. The Reds were on a pre-season tour in the United States when Slot walked into the training ground in Pittsburgh to tell his squad that his number one aim was to eclipse Manchester City and Arsenal. Liverpool go into the Carabao Cup final looking to land the first piece of silverware of their manager's reign, just 5 days after their treble dream was ended by a cruel penalty shootout defeat by Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League. But the Merseysiders are 15 points clear at the top of the Premier League after Slot refused to accept that his first season at Anfield would be one of consolidation. Robertson revealed, "When you're at a club like Liverpool, you can't afford a settling-in period. It's a massive club that expects to win trophies, and the manager was very clear on that from his first day. I remember his first meeting in America, and he basically said, 'We finished third last season and the season before, but we now want to finish above the other two.' So, in his mind, it was clear that he was coming to win trophies. It wasn't like he'd be happy with the top four. It remains to be seen whether we do win trophies, but he's put us in hell of a good place to try to achieve that." When the manager and the coaches took the job, I think their remit was, "We want to win trophies. We want Liverpool to be successful, and not just by finishing in the top four." The players could get on board with that. At the same time, the manager came into a changing room and saw players that expect and are hungry to win trophies. We got off to a good start and that momentum has carried on, but there's still 9 games to go in the league and we've got a lot of work to do. But as we sit here today, we're in a really good spot. Klopp rated dramatic extra-time victory over Chelsea in last year's Carabao Cup final as one of the biggest achievements of his reign, given Liverpool went to Wembley with a team full of youngsters after being ravaged by injury. Slot's task will be to make sure the physical and psychological damage of losing to PSG don't undermine his bid to land the first part of a double. Liverpool have not lost to Newcastle in their last 17 meetings, but a thrilling 3-3 draw between the two teams at St James's Park means the champions-elect will be on their guard. Robertson said, "We probably should have won the tie against PSG inside 90 minutes, but in extra time they looked stronger, and penalties are always a lottery. It was disappointing to go out, but you have to move on, and we've got a chance to do that at Wembley. That's the beauty of football. Last year's final was unbelievable, with the injuries we had, and the young lads coming off the bench. We ended up with the trophy, in a dramatic way, winning it last minute. It was an amazing day out for us, for the fans, for everyone connected with the club. A lot gets said about the League Cup, but when you get to the semi-final and the final, you realise how good it is to win it. We've managed to do that twice, and hopefully we can do it again. We know what to expect from Newcastle and we have to be ready. That 3-3 was probably one of the toughest games we've had this season, and we're going to need to be at our best to get our hands on the trophy. You've got to fancy Liverpool in the Carabao Cup final, but for both managers, it's an acid test of prioritising success over sentiment. For Arne Slot, who suffered his first bump in the road at Anfield in the Champions League shootout defeat by Paris Saint-Germain, the best way to bounce back is to pick his strongest team, starting with the goalkeeper. Eamon Kelleher has been an able deputy for Alisson, but trophies are big business, and if Slot wants to land his first piece of silverware, he needs to pick his number one keeper. Yes, there will be another one along soon when, not if, Liverpool win the title, but for any manager of a big club, the first trophy is the most important one. Newcastle boss Eddie Howe has a similar dilemma: Nick Pope or Martin Dubravka in goal. And it's the same answer: go for your best keeper, which in Newcastle's case is Pope. It should be a close final where Alexander Isak's duel with Virgil van Dijk will be key, and instead of Anthony Gordon v Trent Alexander-Arnold, we're going to have Harvey Barnes v Jarrell Quansah. Newcastle, chasing their first domestic trophy for 70 years, has a nostalgic pull about it. But Liverpool fans call Wembley Anfield South, and I expect they will make themselves at home again. It's still on the dream Europa League final, where Manchester United meet Tottenham, and one of them can salvage glory from a tortured season in the Premier League. At Old Trafford, It's been a big week with encouraging performances against Arsenal and Real Sociedad, and Sir Jim Ratcliffe unveiling plans for a massive 100,000-seater new stadium. And for Tottenham, finally nearing full strength after a difficult winter plagued by injuries, there are finally signs of the real Spurs emerging again with Mickey van de Ven and Dominic Solanke, giving the team's spine renewed power. If United or Tottenham end a painful campaign back in the Champions League mainstream, how's that for a bad season? There are no bigger clubs left in the competition. It's there to be won. Liverpool are all set to beat Newcastle in the battle for Crystal Palace centre-back Marcguehi. There is a Coptoon confrontation on Sunday in the Carabao Cup final at Wembley, but they are also rivals for England's Guehi, 24, and it's understood that Liverpool is the preferred destination for the Palace defender. United report can also reveal that Newcastle are aware of that too, and a deal to take Guehi to Anfield is expected to be struck in the summer. The main rivals to the Premier League leaders now look to be Chelsea, where Guehi started his career, but there could be late interest from Manchester City, Arsenal and Tottenham. All four have also been assessing Guehi after his standout season at Palace and development with England on the international stage. Liverpool, though, are favourites for cup success on Sunday and are also in pole position for Guehi, whose contract expires in June 2026. The 24-year-old could be a direct replacement for Virgil van Dijk, who confirmed in midweek that he doesn't know where he'll be playing his football next season. Van Dijk, like teammates Trent Alexander-Arnold and Mo Salah, has entered the final 3 months of his deal at Anfield. I have no idea. I still have no idea at the moment. Genuinely. I have no idea at the moment, Van Dijk said after Liverpool's Champions League exit in midweek. It is not on hold. Nothing on hold. There's just... I keep saying the same thing. Listen, there are 10 games to go, and that is my full focus. If there is news, you guys will know it. I don't even know myself. Everyone knows there are some conversations behind the scenes, but that is about it. At the moment, I don't even know what will happen next year. If anyone says they do know, they are lying to your face. Guehi made himself a regular for England last year, starring at the European Championship under Gareth Southgate. On Friday, he was included in Thomas Tuchel's first England squad ahead of their World Cup qualifying doubler-header against Albania and Latvia. His performances for Palace have helped fire Oliver Glasner's side into European contention, although his season could have been different had he completed a move to St James's Park. Newcastle boss Eddie Howe opened up on their failed attempts to sign Guehi last summer on the Upfront podcast. He wasn't the only target, Howe explained. I think a lot goes on into a summer. You never just have one target. That wouldn't be right. We went into the summer with several targets. We tried to sign 2 or 3 other players. We didn't get them. We ended up ultimately towards the end of the window with one target, and we didn't get him, so that was it. Barcelona reportedly have genuine interest in Liverpool forward Luis Diaz, with the Reds facing a transfer conundrum as they risk losing a host of their top forwards. The Colombian has been superb for the Reds since his move from FC Porto in 2022, scoring 37 times in 139 appearances, though there are fears the club could lose him. Diaz is said to be no closer to signing a new deal with his current contract expiring in just over 2 years' time, and Barcelona are waiting in the wings to pounce, according to The Athletic. Liverpool are already facing a difficult contract situation coming up this summer, knowing they are likely to lose Mohamed Salah, Trent Alexander-Arnold and Virgil van Dijk on free transfers, with negotiations at a stalemate as things stand. The club will be desperate to avoid a similar situation creeping up on them in the future, so they could be tempted to cash in on Diaz now before they risk losing him for nothing too. Diaz will be in his 30s by the time his deal expires, so Liverpool could be willing to accept an offer, especially given that they have other forwards such as Diogo Jota, Federicochiesa, Cody Gakpo and Darwin Núñez at their disposal. However, with Salah expected to depart on a free transfer and with transfer interest expected in Núñez, Slot could be dealt the dilemma, or whether he cashes in on Diaz and Núñez, in addition to losing Salah. Liverpool are 15 points clear at the top of the Premier League and look nailed on to win the title, but Slot will be reluctant to lose too much of his core group of players that helped the team romp to immediate success under his leadership. Diaz himself has had a fabulous season under the Dutchman, scoring 13 goals and assisting 4 in all competitions. It is claimed Liverpool have a number of options lined up in the event they do lose a couple of forwards in the summer, with Newcastle's Anthony Gordon linked with a move in the past. However, the former Everton star only just signed a new deal St James's Park in October, so any move for the 24-year-old looks unlikely.